Time now for Sid Sixero. This is where I get 60 seconds to talk about anything. Start the clock, please. Here's what's on my mind this morning. Toronto sports scene right now, busy. You've got the Leafs, first place in the North, making trades like crazy. Raptors have stayed in the headlines for most of the season, good, bad, or indifferent. Then there's the Jays. High expectations, slow start, and now COVID-19 has entered the clubhouse, kind of. Teoscar Hernandez tested positive yesterday. All the best to him. Plus, you've got Toronto FC, Champions League game tonight, and they open the MLS season this Saturday in Fort Lauderdale. So many things happening in Toronto sports. But here's the thing. We're all missing the biggest thing of them all. 2 words. Masai Ujiri. Did you know he still doesn't have a contract for next season? Did you know this season's winding down? Did you know that he's one of the most sought-after executives in sports? And I haven't even gotten to his charity work off the court yet. My point is this. While you're watching the Leafs, while you're taking in the Jays, while you're watching TFC and occasionally glancing at a lost Raptor season, remember all of those stories pale in comparison to what would happen if Masai left town. Bad news. And I'm super nervous. And I know I get nervous about a lot of things, but I'm really nervous about this one. Faizal Khamisa of Sportsnet never makes me nervous because he's one of the better broadcasters in the country. He's a fine human being. Faizal, welcome to Breakfast Television. Great to see you. Thanks for waking up this morning.
My pleasure.
Are you as irked as I am that someone as important as Masai Ujiri in the city of Toronto still technically and publicly, in terms of announcements, still does not have a contract with Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment past this season?
It's funny that you use the word announcement because we've heard him speak a lot over the last couple of years about, hey, I love Toronto. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. But as time goes on, Sid, you start to feel it's less okay without that signature on the paper. You know, they took care of the GM, Bobby Webster. He speaks, again, openly about his love for this city, but I'd be nervous as well if I haven't seen a signature on a paper for Masai Ujiri yet. My question continues to be, what is the holdup? And I imagine the holdup is simply Masai Ujiri himself exploring or thinking about what else is out there.
Well, okay. Thank you for bringing that up, because the one thing that would halt this entire process, and if you're a Raptor fan, you should be super worried, is how much attention he is going to get from other clubs around the league. How tough do you think it's going to be for MLSC to keep him, considering that interest?
Look, if Masai wanted to stay in Toronto or at MLSC, I imagine he would be there already, or something would be agreed upon. I don't think it's a matter of that. I just think Masai is a guy that mind goes beyond basketball. You talked about the charity endeavors. He managed to turn that into a world-class organization from Toronto. Imagine, you know, and people have talked about this, the opportunities he'd have to meet with people if he was somewhere else in the States. And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying opportunities present themselves more in a country where there are a lot more ways to do things. And so, look, if he wanted to be at MLSC, he'd be there. If MLSC was like, hey, Masai, whatever you need, you got, he would have signed already in my estimation. So, again, it's nerve-wracking. When you sent me the subject, I was like, oh, man, like this is something I've been thinking about as well. Now, I'm going to say I'm at the same level of nerves as Sid Sixero because I just feel like the scale is a little bit different. But it's something that I've thought about as well.
Faizal Khamisa, Sportsnet, appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, always.
He's one of my favorites, Faizal. We go back and forth, but he's amazing people. Councillor Josh Matlow of Toronto says, you know, why don't we make it legal to drink in parks this summer? Pilot project. Throwing it out there at a committee meeting later this month. What do you think on You Sound Off? Should people be allowed to drink alcohol in public parks, especially now? 1-866-267-3797. Feedback at breakfasttelevision.ca. Twitter 24/7 at Breakfast TV. It is 6:44. Good morning, Toronto.